Good Sunday morning, October 19th. A reasonably beautiful day in lower Alabama here. Got us some nice rain last night. A little brisk fall is definitely upon us finally. And we're just getting back in the habit of God Hour Live every morning. After the hiatus that I took, perhaps I shouldn't have taken, but people need time to grieve. But that doesn't mean we need to stop reading the Bible. And one of the little topics, in addition to John chapter 10, I wanted to talk about a little bit is anger with God. And I've had a lot of people ask me about this. Is it okay to be mad at God? And I would think, sure, it's okay to be mad at God, because you can't be mad at something that doesn't exist. And by being mad, you're acknowledging God. You're mad at God. Now, if I were to be mad at fate or things that I don't consider to exist, that would be kind of irrational. But when something that God has power over hurts me, I think the natural response is to be mad. Just as a child, I was mad at my mother and father often, particularly when I became a teenager and thought I knew everything about the world. Good morning, and how are you this morning? I don't know if you've been listening, but I've been talking about the concept of anger with God. And I don't think it's a bad thing, because I've been a bit angry with God for taking some more or less a family member from me suddenly with little reason that I could think of. But growing up, I was also angry with my mother and father. And in the end, I found out that they were right, maybe after their passing or later in life. But by being mad, I'm at least acknowledging God. And that doesn't mean I no longer love God. It just doesn't mean that I still love my mom and dad. You know, God rest their souls. But so I do think it's perfectly acceptable to be mad at God, because it implies that you believe in God, that you're not doubting God. However, is God mad at us? That's a different question. And I think that it works the same way. He can be mad at us, but still love us. Just as I was mad at him, and still loved him. Just as I was mad at my mom and dad, and still loved them. But the main course, if you will, main topic today was was suggested to me by a friend, counselor, whatever you want to consider it. Not a pastor in his own right, very wise old man. He said, jot down this, John 10, read it, and get back to me. I'm pretty sure I've read it before. But that's the parable of the Good Shepherd. And I tend to only read from the King James Version, as I don't speak any of the ancient languages, the original biblical texts. So I'm going to read a few verses. This may sound dry, King James Version and all that. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. But he that entereth in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. To him the porter openeth, and the sheep hear his voice. Now, porter, not everybody may be familiar with what a porter is, but you could say a housekeeper, butler, or something to that effect. Porter lets the master of the house in. And the sheep hear his voice, and he calleth his own sheep by name, and leadeth them out. And when he putteth forth his own sheep, he goeth before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. And a stranger will they not follow, but will flee from him, for they know not the voice of strangers. And that's a good breaking point, if you will. And then this is Jesus speaking, but they understood not what things that he was talking about. I'm paraphrasing here. It's not how it's worded in King James, obviously. So Jesus explained to them a little bit. He said, I am the door of the sheep. Paraphrasing still. All that came before me are thieves and robbers, and the sheep did not hear them. I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out and find pasture. The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. You know, if a wolf attacks his flock, he defends the sheep at his own peril, just as Jesus defended us to his own peril. But he that is an hireling, King James Version, wording can be a little weird. We might say he that is a hireling, but he that is an hireling, and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, seeth the wolf coming, and leaveth the sheep, and fleeth. And the wolf catcheth them, and scattereth the sheep. The hireling fleeth because he is an hireling, and careth not for the sheep. I am the good shepherd, and know my sheep, and am known of mine. As the Father knoweth me, even so know I the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. And other sheep I have, which are not of this fold, them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd. Therefore doth my Father love me, because I lay down my life, that I might take it again. No man taketh it from me, but I lay it down of myself. I have power to lay it down, and I have power to take it again. This commandment have I received of my Father. Now, he didn't clarify a little bit. Hey, everybody. Jesus said he's the door. He didn't say he was the shepherd. And he made it clear who the sheep are. Jesus is the door to the shepherd. The shepherd would be God. And Jesus controls who comes to the shepherd and who doesn't. And that's the parable of the Good Shepherd. I mean, we're not going to go too deep into it. That's not all of John chapter 10, but that is the parable, the Good Shepherd portion of it. We may do the rest of it some other time. whatever. I'm just getting back into the habit of doing this every morning. I don't know if you've been watching, then you know it's been a kind of rough time for me lately, but it's doing better. And God is good that way. I'm going to keep it short and sweet this morning. Let me get my emotional state back to a good, happy, productive state that it was in a week ago. Thank you all for tuning in. Welcome your comments. Oh, and don't forget, you can reach out to me directly, privately, admin@godhour.org. It's, you know, if you have something personal you want to discuss and talk about, you're more than welcome to do that. Anyway, you all have a great, blessed day. Thank you for your support, and I'll be seeing you in the morning. I'll take care. Have a good day.